160 and 161 as they've posted snatch start weights. So we'd expect Azizi from Iran, Ghazami from Iran, a little bit behind there, but Chikladze from Georgia, and the Belarus athlete, Alianak, are the ones that look to be a little bit ahead.
So we might even have a competition here that's kind of split into 3 groups with Tan from the USA, Nazarov and Mikołajski from Poland, all sort of around mid-30s, low 40s for the snatch. And then there's that next group at about 150, and then those 3 that you've talked about there up at 160.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how it's gonna play out. I would Hiva Tan possibly just following himself, although the Americans have traditionally added or put in a start number and then just eased it up a few kilos, so he could have some overlap with the from the boy from Azerbaijan and also from Poland. But I think that's our first group to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and it certainly looks like we'll see Tan first, because even though, as you say, the Americans often posted fairly low starting totals, that's a big leap to jump up past some of those boys, isn't it? It is, it is.
And just looking on screen there, Chikladze, I'm sure, again, if my memory serves me right, is the reigning 105 kilo champion from last year's Junior Worlds.
Well, we'll have a look into the records and check that. As you are exactly right. So the encyclopedia has worked again. So Chikladze was certainly first in the World Juniors and the European Juniors last year in the 105 kilogram class. And he had lifts of 171 and 211 at the World Juniors last year for a total of 382, and 170 and 216 for a total of 386.
Azizi was there as well, and he managed 4th.
Representing the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ali Ghasemi. Representing Georgia, Irakli Chizeh. Representing Poland, Jakub Michalski. Representing Azerbaijan, Alish Nazarov. Representing the United States of America, Dennis Tan. Representing Turkey, Cibray Ajay. Representing Belarus, Andrei Arlonik. These are the athletes in the men 102 kilo category.
So there we have the athletes being introduced in the men's 102 kilogram class. Interestingly, the first couple of athletes that we've had a look at there, the athlete from Iran and Chikladze, they've all had to drop down from the old 105 kilo class. So we know from the US.
The interval has expired. The lowers are placed 134 kilos on the mark. And
as expected, Tan listed at a starting weight of 132 kilograms, and he's going to start with 134 kilos on the bar here. So our first lifter to get us underway in our final session today. And he's away nicely there.
Yeah, good strong start. And they only moved him up 2 kilos.
Yeah, so we always thought that he probably wouldn't open at that 132.
It's a good strong lift. He just hopped back a little bit, but the bar came with him nicely, and therefore he's able to stand it right up. Those might be the same socks as Catherine Nye. You were.
Yes.
So maybe it's team issue.
Katie Nye, who had very colourful socks. Won a gold medal the other night. Or won a medal, didn't she?
With 3 gold, she won by like 30 kilos.
That's right. She was the one. Yeah. So I'm getting confused with our categories. She was probably the most dominant lifter we've had, hasn't she?
Yes. Hibbeth might win the medal for the most elaborate hair ties and whatnot for a male session to this day.
That's true. There's a lot of work gone into that.
It has.
And of course, starting at the weights that he started at, he's it's going to be following himself here, at least for the first 2 lifts. He's move up to 137. He might buy a little break here if Mikulski starts at 140, although he might shift that up as well.
Yeah, I certainly think Tan will go up here. It was a very powerful opener. So
that's a lot of work gone into that hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
That.
I mean, I'm probably just a bit envious that it's a nice thick patch of hair up there, and mine's heading south pretty quick.
Well, mine's still there. It's just it's rapidly going from silver fox to old man.
Well, let's hope he can continue how he started. Another nice strong lift.
So second lift, bar's gone up to 138 kilos. Tan from the US. So he's 2 from 2.
Now we might see a new lifter, but that was again another strong lift.
It's an uncharacteristically smooth start for the men, isn't it?
Yes, 2 from 2. Again, a little hop back. Fire comes with him.
So we're talking in the break about Ben Johnson and drugs and stuff. We've had no positive tests here. It's been fantastic that there's been no controversy. We've been able to just focus on the lifting here, and real sign of the change of the times with weightlifting, isn't it?
Yeah, Tim, the sport's really had to look at itself over the last few years, and there's been some strong constraints put in place, which is really good to see. And yeah, the Junior World Championships like this, yeah, we can only hope that when everything's done and dusted, that there aren't any adverse findings. But yeah, it's certainly been something that the sport's addressing and are making good steps in the right direction.
Yeah, it's all been very, very positive to this stage in the championships, and let's hope it remains that way. We're now with Mikulski from Poland, 140 kilos on the bar. So Mikulski's on the board. It's got an interesting tattoo. If we see the front on replay here, we might be able to see his tattoo. It's like the Lion King on his arm. Oh, there it is. Actually, I might have just committed blasphemy there. If we look closely, I think it might be a picture of Jesus.
Yeah, hard to tell there. It's a bit upside down.
But a nice lift anyway.
It was.
So Tan just edging up the 3 kilograms here. No, it's going to be another kilo.
He'll move the clock. Well, the coaches will move the clock up, the scoreboard up another one, and that will bring out the boy from Azerbaijan.
Yep, we see that.
42 kilos down.
See that shift made. So Tan's going to attempt 142 kilos, and that brings Nazarov from Azerbaijan. Let's hope the coaching staff's on top of that out the back. Looks like maybe Nazarov's gone up again as well.
Yeah, we
I
just
think he might have
forced it back to 10.
142 kilos still weight. Thank you, loaders. This will be the third attempt.
hasn't come through. Oh, it's come through now on my scoreboard. 143.
142 kilos.
Tan composes himself over the bar. So successful lift there. Well, one of them didn't like it.
Yeah, it was just a bit of movement on his right elbow, but majority decision rules. So we'll just probably see his right elbow. Hard to tell there, but two of them were happy.
Yeah, and the jury didn't seem fussed about it, so
no.
Clean lift. And he's made another one who's dropped down from that 105 kilos that he lifted at the Pan American Juniors last year. And he lifted up 135 in the snatch in that, so that 142 certainly improves. Now we are with Nazarov from Azerbaijan. He has 143 kilos.
Oh no. Hasn't done his suit up either.
Oh, he hasn't, has he? Up the back. Maybe that was altogether just too casual, that approach.
Yeah.
Second attempt. He has 2 minutes in which to start. Jakub Michalski, Poland, next in heavier weight.
No. Well, came into contact with his hips, really went away and never allowed him to finish his pull.
We see that little jump again, slap of the feet down, characteristic of the Eastern European, Central Asian lifters.
Didn't execute the first part of the lift well enough there, and that's what caused the miss. So,
well, let's hope he can correct that. Should be well within his capability. He finished 14 at the European Championships earlier this year, and cleaned 151 kilos, so that's well above this weight. So he'll follow himself again at the same weight. Michalski's up to 144. Still 5 athletes yet to touch the bar in the snatch. So Nazarov from Azerbaijan, can he make whatever corrections he needs to here?
Much better.
Does not look happy with that first miss, I think.
No, he certainly sort of trudged off the platform a little bit there, but he's on the board, and that's the main thing.
Second attempt at the snatch, to be followed by Nazarov at the same weight. Mihalski, Poland at 144 kilos.
Shaking his head as he put the bar down there. I think more about, as we said, the previous lift than that one. Mikowski, his second lift. Second lift in the snatch, men's 102 category. And 144 kilos on the bar.
Yeah, it was good lift.
Good lift. Mihalski,
He had to work very hard though.
Yeah, it really flew up actually. He nearly sort of lost it over the back, but he was able to stabilise, and you see here.
This will be the third attempt representing Poland. Jakub Mihalski.
Almost took him by surprise a little bit, but he was able to stabilise it.
So Mikowski is due to lift again to follow himself. It's been a while since he has any international competition track record here. Last recorded international lifts at the Youth World Championships way back in 2016. So
okay.
That was an 85 kilo lifter. So he's getting back into the international fray. This is his last year as a junior.
Yeah, there's only 2 athletes here that are eligible to return. It's Arsa from Turkey and Qasimi from Islamic Republic of Iran.
Well, I assume that's going to happen as we get into the higher weight categories. It takes longer for the men and for the women to reach those categories, so they're going to be proportionally older athletes, I'm assuming, are they?
Yeah, generally, and just yeah, getting into these A sessions, you know, you've got big men now lifting big weights, so that extra year or 2 of development can make quite a big difference between the ages of 17 to 20.
So Mikowski, this is his final lift in the men's 102 kilogram snatch. Oh. That went horribly wrong.
Yeah, he lost his grip for whatever reason. You don't see it too often, but every now and then you'll see an athlete lose their grip. Or
it's hard to work out from that angle exactly what went wrong, but
you don't know if it's a grip issue or whether it's something further up the chain, but hopefully he's all right and he'll come back for his clean and jerks.
So this is the first of our lifters from the Islamic Republic of Iran. Of course, celebrating the end of Ramadan at the moment, so
Yes.
Qasimi 150 on the bar.
You know, and that certainly
No lid,
isn't to
Gethsemane,
be
150
sort of
kilos.
just thrown away lightly. Tim Ramadan, obviously, you know, they can't eat between sunrise and sunset,
First attempt
so
to be
you know,
followed
that
by
has
Ali
ramifications
Gethsemane,
on
Islamic Republic of Iran.
your ability to fuel yourself while you're training and whatnot. So
At jars moved up,
it's actually something I'm
150
quite
kilos
keen to, if I get a chance, to maybe talk
representing
to
the Islamic Republic
a
of
couple of the
Iran,
coaches that
second attempt to the snatch,
operate
Ali
under
Gethsemane.
those or under that context to understand how they manage it. And you know, it's the last month leading into a Junior World Championships. It certainly would have impacted their preparation in some form.
Yeah, certainly it's a factor that has to be taken into consideration and managed. Very important festival, of course, for those of the Muslim faith. Seeing Mikowski here, and we're waiting for Gassimi, who looks like he's heading back out to follow himself. Characteristic backslapping there from the Iranian coaches. Very much a feature of the last moments of encouragement.
He's been busy. He's been with every athlete, this particular Iranian coach. So
Gassimi, second attempt at 150 kilos.
Yeah, much better.
Goodlin, Gethsemane, 150 kilos.
He's another one who may well look back at that first miss and rue that. 10 athletes here from Iran.
Okay, big team.
All men, so one of the bigger teams here. Only one of 6 countries to send a double-figure number of athletes. Japan and Korea, understandably ahead of next year's Olympics, quite big teams. Poland, surprisingly large team. Turkey we expect, the US we'd expect. Also 12 athletes from Chinese Taipei competing at these Junior Weightlifting World Championships, but we are now with Nazarov from Azerbaijan. No, so that's the end of an underwhelming session for Nazarov. He's of course the only male athlete here from Azerbaijan. They have one male and one female athlete here. He's going to be disappointed with that, Nazarov, isn't he? 151 at the European Championships a couple of months ago. So,
well, maybe that's why he had his sad head on through all 3 snatches. You know, he just never got his energy where he needed to.
Bit of work being done on the bar here. Occasionally we see the loaders just clean the bar up, sweep the platform, make sure all the athletes have got a good surface to grip on.
Well, in complete contrast to the boy from Azerbaijan, the athlete from Turkey, very relaxed. He's definitely come down. He was a super heavyweight at the Junior Worlds last year.
This is a car from Turkey. Yeah, he was a plus 105 last year at the Junior Worlds. Good start, 151.
Yeah, I remember him, and the reason I remember is because I had an athlete in that same session, and he was a very capable lifter.
To be followed by Ali Gethsemane, Islamic Republic of Iran, at a heavier weight. And
41,171. So that was a year ago. He's still only young. Yeah, we're looking at not turned
155 kilos floaters.
not turned 18 yet.
Moving up.
So looks like he's been up and down a bit in the weights if you look at that. Although I'm not sure if Sabrea Akar and Sabrail Akar are the same person, just with a spelling mistake in the records that I've got. We've got Sabrail here, according to the start list.
Okay, so yeah. I think it is.
You think it's a spelling mistake?
Yeah. Oh, is there two listed? Yeah. They've been entered in because the same date of birth, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you look in as Sabrea, and we're assuming it's the same athlete, lifted at plus 105, so he would have come down since the Junior Worlds. He was a 110 kilo athlete then.
Yeah. So he's just come down 8 kilos.
So he's dropped 8 kilos if that's the same. And Sabrail in the IWF listings, again, same birthday. But he's lifted plus 94 as a 110 kilo athlete, so that doesn't sound quite right, does it?
Yeah, because that would have been the youth super plus 94. That.
So we're back with a car from Turkey, 155 kilograms. He looks powerful, doesn't he?
He is, yeah, as I say, yeah. Still 17, doesn't turn 18 until the end of, or middle of August.
Once again, this will be an automatic increase at a 2-minute clock.
So yeah, he's the youngest lifter in the group. So lift is currently with Carr. We may see him actually complete before we see the athletes. The other Iranian is Azizi and Chikedzi from Georgia and Alianek from Belarus. Currently we've got a weight of 157 for a car for Turkey as he prepares himself. So our car's going for 158. That's Andrei Ardianek from Belarus there. We just see warming up out the back. He's yet to lift in the competition.
Well, it's planned out like we thought, that initial group. Now we've got Ather and Gassimi. They're playing it out. And then those last three to join in.
Got the Iranian coach there just addressing the judges table at the back. And Sabrail Akar here from Turkey. So this is third lift. Two successful at 151 and 155, and this is his first attempt at 158. Got away from him over the back.
Did he? He lifted well.
A 9-kilo increase from his last attempt. This will be Ali Gassemi.
He's got one of the higher clean and jerks.
His third attempt.
Car, so
Inactive Chase, Georgia next.
be interesting to see how he backs up from that. But he's on the board and done for the snatch, so he can sit back and start to prepare for the clean and jerk. And if it's any consolation to him, he's currently in first place.
For now.
For now.
It's a big jump for Gassemi, 9 kilos.
So his third lift. First attempt at 159 kilos.
Oh, gave it a good nudge. Just you see the coach there sort of gesture that just didn't quite keep it close enough. We'll see this in the replay.
It's a good bounce, just gets out in front of him a bit, doesn't it? Then over the back. Okay, so the second of our lifters from the Islamic Republic of Iran, Azizi. And well, we've completed 5 of the 8 lifters, and currently Akar is leading from Gassemi and Mikalski, but these 3 are the big boys now. Azizi with 160 kilos on the bar. Three white lights. He's now in the gold medal position for the snatch.
Representing Georgia, the first attempt, Inactive Chase. Arlonic, Belarus next. Chase is moved up.
Good strong attempt.
Little wobbly, but
a little bit, but you know, there was plenty of power there.
To be followed by Azizi at a higher weight.
So this is our penultimate lifter in the competition, Alinek. Well, he justified the weight.
Good lift, Arlonic. Lowers, please. 161 kilos, Andre Arlonic.
Alionek from Belarus.
Andre Arlonic, 161 kilos, second attempt in the snatch.
Yeah, good strong lift. It's going to be a nice little battle here.
Yeah, well, we're still waiting for Chikidze, Irakli Chikidze from Georgia. We see him on screen there.
Irakli Chase, Georgia. This will be his first attempt. He'll be
Strides to the platform.
Islamic Republic of Iran.
They generally are very technically sound, the Georgians. Adzenadze, the coach, not here for this competition, but Olympic champion himself in the 85 kilo class back in Athens.
Well, he's the reigning junior world champion in the 105 kilo. Oh. There you go. Anything can happen.
Everything was really nice there. It's just that left arm just done a lot.
Jason, Georgia.
Even from here, we'll see. It was a really nice lift, and then just as he went to get up, he lost control of the bar.
So an unsuccessful start there for the reigning world junior champion, that being in the old 105 class. So he'll remain the reigning junior champion in that class in perpetuity, I'd imagine, unless we ever go back to it. As we see Mikulski, Jakub Mikulski there, the pole, getting his warm-ups underway for the clean and jerk, which is not far away. We're into the business end of the snatch now. And we have a leader, Azizi, Amir Azizi from Iran. And all of our lifters are on the board. In second place, Alyanek, also at 160 from Belarus. And Chidzi from Georgia.
He certainly made the correction, no problem.
Yeah, and as we've seen a couple of times when a lifter misses a lift, we expect them to make it the start of the snatch. It can put a bit of pressure on the end. It just gives them a little bit less room to manoeuvre. He's now a lift ahead of the other two lifters that are fighting it out for the medals.
Voters, please, 163 kilos, thank you. Representing Georgia, third attempt, Alakli Jason, Azizi to follow. Voters, 165 kilos, please. Amir Azizi, Islamic Republic of Iran, second attempt. Arlone, next in the same weight. Bar is ready. Azizi, 165 kilos. Arlone, next.
So Azizi. That characteristic jump again.
Good lift, Azizi, 165 kilos.
Yeah, well, he's looked powerful. The Iranian born. He's coming after
Belarus, second attempt.
Chigetse.
To be followed by Azizi.
Yeah, finished fourth this time last year. He's going to see if he can come over the top of the Georgian.
So we're with Alyanek from Belarus. His second lift at 165 kilograms. Always looked good.
Yeah, that was better than his first.
Yeah,
Really looked good.
so that will put him
Voters, please, 166 kilos. 3 lifts remaining. Each belonging to one of the 3 remaining athletes. We'll start with Amir Azizi, 166 kilos, Islamic Republic of Iran. To be followed by Arlone. Azizi's moved up. 166 kilos the weight. Andre Arlone, Belarus. Third attempt. Arlone to be followed by Jason, Georgia. Your weight. Lowers 167 now. Chasing Georgia. This is his final attempt. Amir Azizi. Iran next.
So this will put Chidje in first place in the snatch if he's successful with this. A little bit of back and forward there between the lifters, but we now have Chidje, who's in third place, as we thought the medals would come down to these final three lifters. His third attempt in the men's 102 kilogram category snatch. He's going to regret that first miss, isn't he?
Yes,
Georgia,
he is.
167 kilos. Lowers
Because
168 kilos now.
that looked very powerful.
This will be his
Yeah,
third
169k lifter at the European Championships earlier this year, so he's probably undersold himself a bit there. You see the President of Fiji there, the Honourable Retired Major General His Excellency Georgi Kondrote, sitting next to the IWF President Thomas Hahn. Atma Maharaj there in the foreground and Dr. Robin Mitchell at the end of the table. But we're back now with the lifters. And this to put Alionek in the gold medal position. Well, that's really thrown down the gauntlet to Azizi, hasn't it?
169 kilos.
Yeah, 3 out of 3.
One attempt to go.
So I would have thought Azizi moves the bar to 170. There it is.
Yep. So once again, one of these competitions has come down to the final lift of the section, and in the snatch we currently have Alionek at 169 kilos in first place from Belarus, Chidze from Georgia in second place, and the man who can beat them all, Amir Azizi from Iran. He's got 172 kilograms on the bar. 170, sorry. And this for the gold medal in the men's 102 kilograms category snatch. Not to be. So if anything, that result probably played into Shidzy's hands just a bit. He's got the higher or the comparable total in the clean and jerk to Azizi, but he's now got a couple of kilos on him from the snatch.
Yeah, it's certainly going to come down again though to the last couple of lifts, I'd imagine. I would imagine Alionek's a big clean and jerker as well. He's got 190 listed as his start weight, so I think we're in for another close set of lifts. Playing it out before we see the last and the 3 medal contenders coming through. So it could be another close contest though with these top 3.
Okay, so the first of our lifters here to begin the final session of competition on day 6 of the Junior World Weightlifting Championships, and it is Alish Nazarov from Azerbaijan. 175 kilograms on the bar in the men's clean and jerk 102 kilogram category. He doesn't look happy today, does he? He really does not.
He's not at all. I mean, he's stark contrast to Shriver last night, our American girl, who really entertained us with a fantastic pre-lift routine. And this is at the complete other end of the spectrum.
He just looks bewildered there, doesn't he, as to what's gone wrong.
Yeah, it's like he's walked through the tunnel and all of a sudden he's in a different venue.
The expression on his face then, you could almost be led to believe the bar hit the ground and he sort of woke up and went, oh, where am I? He just really looked, he doesn't look at peace with himself today at all, Nazarov, does he?
So whether he's struggling with the heat or he certainly...
He looks tired there,
He does, yeah. So
now whether that's the stress from the struggle he's had, 2 misses in the snatch, 1 successful at 143. Which was a good lift after the sort of miss on the first one. We thought he might have been a bit casual on that first snatch, didn't we? He came out with the costume unzipped at the back and seemed quite ready for it, but
just his walk to the platform is very laboured.
175 kilos.
I'm not much of a betting man, which is probably unusual coming from Australia, but I'm not putting anyone's money on this lift. Going to make me eat my words here, isn't he? Oh. Yes, he is.
Hey.
You see the body language when he leaves, it's just...
Yeah, he's certainly checked out. He's done enough to secure a title. Obviously something's happened, probably earlier on in the session that's just caused him to lose focus, and for whatever reason he can't find the energy levels.
Yeah, well, he's a bit below the lift totals from the European Championships, which was only a couple of months ago. He was 151, 181 there for a total of 332, so he's 14 kilos shy of that, and I suggest not going to get much closer to it.
That little fan from the Team USA has been working hard the last few days. I've seen a few athletes have it out.
It's not a bad idea, actually, is it? It actually gets quite hot in that little tunnel. It's quite warm in the gymnasium here, but the tunnel just passes, as you'll see from the wide shot in a second, the right-hand side of the stage out to the training room at the back, and it does get a bit kind of muggy in there and close with all the people moving through it. So the very panicked coach from Iran running out there for a second. Oh, and this is why. Not sure they quite realised that Tan had moved up there. So Tan started at 178, who's moved up to 180, which means the lift's gone to Ghazimi from Islamic Republic of Iran. He's not happy. He's getting his breath. 180 kilos on the bar. Well, I'll be pleased to get on the board there after 2 unsuccessful lifts in the snatch. So he's got a total up to 330. And we're going to see the next of our lifters at 180, Mikulski from Poland, Jakub Mikulski.
Didn't look too flash.
Yeah, he grabbed the left knee there.
No lift. Mikulski, 180 kilos.
Say the front on shot here, so we can see what happened there.
This will be the first attempt.
Yeah, it looked like there was
United States of America, Dennis
a little bit of rotation when he went to catch the bar on the bottom, and that's never good. Just there, see his left knee dipped in.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he hasn't done any injury here. And Tan coming out with more chalk on him than I've seen on any other lifter so far in this competition.
Well, as you said, it's very muggy, so trying to alleviate any potential for the bar to slip if he doesn't quite get it on his shoulders correctly.
So his first attempt at 180 kilograms. 3 successful lifts in the snatch. This is his first attempt in the clean and jerk. Well done. Tell you what, they've been good, the US lifters, haven't they? They've either been performing up to what we expected, or even we saw yesterday Shriver, who really kind of struggled away through the snatch, finished 6th or 7th in that, and then managed to come through with 3 clean lifts in the clean and jerk and pick up a medal. So they've really kept fighting, haven't they?
They have, and our only medal from a B session came with Jaden Washington in the 89 kilo class. So no, they have, you're right. We've got a technical stop here. The jury have got involved. I'm thinking that left arm, when I watched it live, might have been a bit of a soft lock or a lock and unlock.
After jury review, no lift.
Yeah, see that?
Yep.
Left arm.
Lower please to 180 kilos, thank you. Representing Poland.
The jury start the day in not so lenient mood.
Well, you said a couple of times, seen worse, haven't we, with that? And seen that little movement just get let through, but was reasonably clear on that occasion. No problems with the left knee then.
Much better lift. So obviously just got caught at a bit of a funny angle in that previous lift.
Yeah, it was hard to see exactly what happened, wasn't it? Just left knee just collapsed in, but didn't have any of those problems this time. So back with Tan from the US, still at 180 kilos. He lifted this in his previous attempt, but a positive decision from the referees was overruled by the jury on a technical grounds.
It certainly didn't look too hard for Tan, so I'd expect him to make the adjustment. problem that time.
Yeah, much better there. Quite quick between the transition from the clean to the jerk, and
he doesn't. He certainly doesn't take his time. I noticed that in the first lift was a bit of a whirlwind, but he just composed himself enough.
To be followed by 10 at a heavier weight.
so 10 disposes of 180 after a second crack. And we are with Ales Nazarov from Azerbaijan. This will be his final lift of the competition, so starting to get towards the final lifts of that bottom group of 3 that we talked about earlier.
Well, I thought he might finish strongly there. It was a nice clean, but the jerk was out in front. And he gave a look as if to say it was the bar's fault, but I think he's just not had a good day, unfortunately.
Well, he came out fractionally more positive in his body language then, but it didn't translate into the jerk part of the lift here. So that's his day done. Ales Nazarov from Azerbaijan. He'll finish with a total of 318 kilograms. This will also be the last lift for Mikalski. Jakub Mikalski from Poland, his final lift of the competition, 184 kilograms on the bar. This for a total of 328. Well, not to be. He'll finish with a total of 324 kilograms. And that sees Jakub Mikalski done for the men's 102.
It's been a bit of a underwhelming start, really, from these first few lifters.
Yeah, we've had 5 of 9 lifts missed.
Turkey, first attempt, to be followed by 10 at the same weight.
Okay, so 10's moved up to 185, which brings Achar into the fray. No. So Achar's moved up to 186. Kasimi's also moved up to 186, so the lift is back with 10. Although it looks like the Turk thinks he's about to walk out and take this.
Moved up as well, 186 kilos, please.
Tan's moved up.
3 athletes calling for this weight. Up first, Cemray Achar, Turkey, to be followed by Ali Kasimi.
So 10 has moved up to 186. That was just a bit slow coming through on the scoreboard, but obviously the Turkish coaches were right on top of that at the back. And they've got their athlete out there nice and early. Cemray Achar from Turkey. First lift in the men's clean and jerk. 186 kilograms on the bar.
So it continues.
So
Acham, Turkey, 186 kilos. Lowers 186, please, once again. Timekeeper will...
He's back to the drawing board.
Shidrai Acham, Turkey, 186 kilos.
So Gazimi's moved up to 188.
Well, he'll sit back now.
Normally, an athlete has 1 minute between the attempts. But in this case, as these are successive attempts by the same athlete,
See if he can't maybe get
2 minutes in which to begin.
Alianak into some sort of bother and maybe jag himself a bronze medal. Gashimi, whilst Azizi and Chick.
Okay, so we're with the Char, still at 186. He's probably lost any chance to push for an overall medal after missing that first lift. He was in 4th place after the snatch, but that was 10 kilos shy of the bronze medalist. So if he'd been at his best in the clean and jerk and one of those top 3 had faltered, there was the slightest sniff, but
trouble again.
Yeah, judges won't like any of that.
186 kilos, Acham.
Couldn't get the arms locked out.
186 kilos, 2 athletes calling for this weight, all on their 3rd attempt.
The clean hasn't been a problem, but for whatever reason, he can't lock it out over his head.
He needs to talk to the Oceania athletes, work on the jerk. Saying the other day you felt that was a real strength of the weightlifting in the region.
Yeah, generally, I mean, the clean and jerk as a whole, so sort of probably led by Paul Coffer, who's been in the region for a long time now, and his philosophy that, as I've said many times, clean and jerks win medals.
Okay, so this is Tan's final lift in the competition, and he's got 186 kilos on the bar. He's successful at 180 previously.
No lift, Tan, 186 kilos. Holders, please, 186 kilos.
So that ends the competition for Hibbeth Tan from the US, and he'll finish with a total of 322 kilograms. Had a good time of it in the snatch with 3 successful lifts, but only 1 of 3 in the clean and jerk. So that's 3 of our athletes done. And it's a sea of red at the moment.
It really is. There's more red than blue up there on the scoreboard.
See if Char can reverse that trend.
Yeah, let's hope so. There we go.
Are they going to like that? We might see some red there. 2 and 3.
186 kilos.
Throw your challenge card, coaches.
Yeah, well, why not? Why wouldn't you here?
Absolutely no reason to, aren't there?
Yeah, one of them was happy. Maybe we can see the front on. We'll get a better view of that.
88 kilos, second attempt in the clean and jerk. To be followed by Arlonek, Belarus.
Kind of looked like he had this, didn't he? And then there's just a little wobble.
It's the left arm again, which is giving him trouble all through. This it's good, but this, yeah, comes in. I don't think hasn't made much difference.
Well, it didn't look like his right arm was locked there either, but that's okay because it didn't move. Is that the way the referees will look at that?
Well, no, not if they know that you can fully lock it out.
Well, no challenge, and that's a disappointing end to the clean of jerk there from a car, and he will not post a total here, so that's always disappointing for any lifter. Okay, so we've got 4 lifters completed, and we're into the top 4 now. This is the first of our top 3 group. Kazemi, or he's kind of the 4th placed, I guess. Kazemi from Islamic Republic of Iran, 187 kilos on the bar. Okay, no lift there for Kazemi. A bit of a rough time of it in the snatch with only 1 completed lift, and he's only made 1 lift in the clean and jerk so far. So
well, it looks like he's going to come around with a, or come out of it with a 4th place finish, assuming we don't see the others push themselves out of contention.
Yeah, well, you would think at this point his only chance of a medal in the clean and jerk is if one of those top 3 athletes just has a horrible time in the...
Oh, absolutely. As a coach, you're hoping there that, you know, the top 3 start, you know, going lift for lift, and I hope that they're trying to secure medals and maybe one of them falls over. So, yeah, but again, you're in that awful position of hoping instead of knowing.
So Kazemi still on the board as our next athlete, so you really need to make this to have any chance of finishing any higher than the 4th that we think he'll find himself in at the moment.
Giuseppe, 187 kilos, 3rd attempt.
So the judges make of that 3 white lights.
Yeah.
Thought he was going to take a couple more steps there.
Not pretty, but showed tremendous fight to keep his arms locked out and secure the lift.
Well, that's a great performance there in the end from Kazemi. He's going to post a total of 337 kilograms.
It was so hard out of the clean, I didn't really give him much chance actually, but a little bit forward, he was able to take a couple of steps and then just keep those toes behind the edge of the platform.
Yep, so good job there from Kazemi. Now, the first of our top 3, Leonak, he was the gold medalist in the snatch, entering at about 10 kilos less than Azizi and Chikidze. So we'll see how he goes here. 190 kilos on the bar. Well, he continues his good form after 3 successful lifts in the snatch.
Yeah, he's looked very powerful, the Belarusian.
Once again, we're going to call
I think
He has 2 minutes in which to
Well, if
start
he's any
this
chance,
event.
I think his next
On
attempt's
the
got to be
line,
200.
191 kilos. Amir Azizi next.
A very solid lift there. He's 4 from 4. He's the only athlete even close to that on the board at the moment.
So Azizi's come down,
Lower
195.
weight, please. 195 kilos now. Amir Azizi, first attempt.
Oh, then that has indeed thrown it up to 200. So
To be followed by Georgia's Elakli Shinzik.
So the lift is with Amir Azizi, third in the snatch with a lift of 165. So he trails Leonek by 4 kilos in the overall total, but this would put him in the lead in both the clean and jerk and the overall if he made this.
that looks heavy.
No lift. Azizi, 195 kilos. Lowers, tighten that up.
Yes, so the challenge is ahead of him, and Mikowski, who's currently sitting in third position, maybe staying just alive for a medal chance. One of these athletes falls over.
We didn't get the timing of his clean right, so we'll give him the doubt that if he can go away, regroup, an easier clean on the second attempt, then he'll get the jerk portion right as well.
So both the other athletes remaining have moved up to 200 kilos. Chikidze hasn't even taken a lift in the clean and jerk at this stage. So he's rolling the dice for the competition on the 200 kgs. And Azizi still has the lift.
Amir Azizi, second attempt.
Looked like he had the same problem.
And he did much better in the clean. He did catch the bounces straight out of it, but he really pushed the jerk forward.
Representing Islamic Republic of Iran, Amir Azizi. 2 minutes begin.
So from being in the group in the top 3 we talked about as sharing the medals, Azizi's actually facing not posting a total here if he can't get this right.
Yeah, and as we see a big long split, but the bar's so far forward that he just can't do anything about it. And now he's put some real pressure on himself, as you say, Tim, just to register a total and secure the bronze medals. Although we're still yet to see the Georgian come out.
And that back leg looked like it was a long way back. Did you feel like that was he was overstretching there?
Well, it was more that the bar went forward instead of straight. If he'd been in a nice long split, but the bar was back behind his head, then I'm sure he recovers quite comfortably. But with the bar being so far forward, he's just got nowhere him to move.
So we see a lot of the lifters wrapping the bandages around the knees. Some of them have the pre-molded things. What are they looking for from that? Is that a support thing, a confidence thing, a comfort thing for the lifters?
Yeah, a little bit of all of the above, and done well. It'll just act as a little bit of a rebound coming out of the clean. A little bit of tightness around those joints. And so when you hit the bottom of the clean, it'll just give you a little bit of momentum coming out.
So we're with Azizi. 195 kilograms. He needs this to register a total in the competition.
Again, good clean.
Yeah, that looked the best of the three. Well, we haven't seen that yet, have we, in the competition? Kissing the barbells.
Normally you see it when someone wins, but I think he's that relieved. We'll see again. Big long split, but the bar goes further forward, further straighter. Nice, and then he's just able to pull that back leg back or forward. So.
Yeah, that was noticeably behind his head compared to the other two, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that'll be some relief for the Iranian coaches, the Iranian team, his teammates, and not to mention Amir Azizi. He's now posted a total. He's now put himself in the gold medal position in both the clean and jerk and the total, with a total of 360 kilograms. And he's put himself out front as the man to beat. Leonak, 196 on the bar.
Well, he's on fire, this boy.
I don't think for the whole championship we've seen two lifters in a starker contrast back to back there. Everything seemed to be a struggle for Azizi, and Leonak comes in, doesn't even get too far into the clock. Very matter of fact, very efficient.
I know, it's such an interesting contrast. Same weight, two different people, two very different results.
Well, they both lifted it, which was great. That was actually 1 kilo heavier. That was 196, so that puts him in first place in the clean and jerk. But a real study in the contrast of the emotions that the lifters go through here. Okay, so we're seeing Gidze, who is entering the competition where there's only one lifter with one lift left. So he can really nail the clean and jerk and the total here in one lift.
Yeah. And he's certainly in the driver's seat if he can lock this in.
And he's only taken that 199 here just to give him the win if he gets it. Oh, there we go. Right.
Doctor's happy.
Yep, so that puts him in front. Puts him in front by a kilo, which is all he needed.
Well, he's in the driver's seat now. Yeah. Whether Leonak's happy just to, with a couple of silvers and a gold in the snatch, or whether he's going to try and put some pressure on. I mean, he's more than capable of 205 plus.
He's looked terrific. Those have been the best 5 lifts of the competition. maybe with the exception of that last one from Chidze. He's back out. He's only got 201 on the bar.
201 kilos, please. Final attempt, Andrei Arlovik, Belarus, to be followed by.
Can only think that you know, he's up around his bests. At 201, he takes a lead of 2. So it just means that Chidze would have to do 204.
And Chidze's coming off at 203 in the European Championship, so it's up there around his best. He looks so smooth through that, isn't he? Oh, one of the judges didn't like it, but the jury's given it a tick. So
no, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
They haven't.
They're going to have a look at it.
Every single jury member has given that a red light. So I think this will get reversed. And then again, if I was the Belarus coaches, I'd be chucking my challenge card back at them.
So what are they looking at here, the jury members, do you think?
Left arm. Left arm.
Just the tiniest little kind of movement, is it? So we have seen one challenge overturned, a decision already.
I'd certainly be playing my card.
Which we were a little bemused by at the time, from memory. We kind of think it'd be a poor coaching decision not to play it at this point, wouldn't you? It's the last lift of the night for your lifter. If they overturn the decision, you've really got nothing to lose, except a gold medal, potentially.
Milan Mihajlovic there, president of the jury. I think they've overruled it. It's just consulting still, is he? Still watching there, they're having another look. So they're taking their time here. Danielle Waller on the end there from Australia, Della Shaw, Fiji. William Pena Rodriguez from Colombia, and who have we got down the end? Pashak here, Avadayan from Armenia. Well, Pashak and Milan.
Bit of hand slapping there.
Yeah, they're happy about something. Oh, continue the competition.
Yeah, no, they're given that.
After due consideration, that is a good play.
There you go. So
there we go. Adds to a little bit of drama.
Now, how much would that have played into the fact that they know the challenge card's there now, and you know, we've seen the precedent set yesterday. Are they bound by that at all?
I don't think so. I mean, it's all new for everyone, but you'd like to think that they're just. The difference is the video technology. In the past, they didn't have that. So now with the opportunity to look at the video, we've got the Dartfish company here who have got cameras we can see set up all around the platform, so they can look at different angles, different speeds. It certainly gives them all the information to make an accurate decision.
Yeah, and this looks like an example. I mean, we've seen video technology introduced in many sports, haven't we? I mean, cricket was a pioneer. Tennis was one of the early ones. We've seen it in controversially at many times in rugby league and rugby union, and this is a terrific use of the technology here, isn't it? And probably easier with a sport that's a bit more static in that respect.
Oh, I think so, yeah, and it doesn't, if anything, you know, the break in this sort of sense doesn't, it adds to the drama of it all.
Yeah, which is often the criticism, isn't it, with the video replaying, that it somehow delays the momentum of the game, where
And yeah, in this sport where it's such a close skill, it actually adds to the drama. Oh well, Jahadze can seal the deal with this one though.
Well, this is out beyond what he lifted at the European Championships, but he looked very strong in his first lift. He's done the business there.
Good lift, 204 kilos. Loaders another kilo, please. 205 kilos.
He's almost matter of fact about that.
It was a very good jerk.
So, as a coach, when you're confronted with this situation, so he's just stitched up the gold in the cleaner jerk and the total. So he's got nothing to play for on that front. He's 8 kilos shy of the world junior record. Do you have a crack at that?
212. Yeah, potentially.
It's pretty close. I mean, he'd have to go to 13, wouldn't he? It's a big weight.
No, it's a standard, so you just got to equal the standard. So 212. Yeah, he's called for it.
There you go. He's gone 213.
That's because they don't understand, I reckon. You only have to equal a world standard to then take that record. So.
I mean, an 8 kilo jump at any stage is a big jump, but he has looked pretty strong through both those lifts, hasn't he?
Mm. Yeah, he certainly has. I think he's got it in him if he can just time that clean. But yeah, he's taking an extra kilo. Let's hope he doesn't rue that.
Do you feel like we should run around and tell them that? Or just hope they're watching the broadcast?
I can only think that's what they think. They've seen a standard, and normally you have to break a record. But when the new classes were put in place, obviously the IWF reset all the world records and they were all put in as world standards. You only have to equal a world standard.
Well, I can't blame them too much for that, because I must say, just glancing quickly away from the monitor at my sheet of paper with the records on it, I thought the same thing. So you would like to think they did more than glance at it, but maybe they didn't. Anyway, what a terrific way to finish the night this would be. World junior record attempt here. 213 kilograms on the bar.
He could do this.
Yeah, he's got through that.
Oh,
he was that close.
The extra kilo.
Yeah, maybe. You're going to go around and tell them, or am I?
I might just tell the doc. So I don't have to announce him anymore. I'm not quite so scared of getting his name wrong. So
that's one of the competition doctors from Georgia.
He's certainly very happy with the result.
He's very, very happy, but he might not be happy when he realises that kilo could have made the difference, as we see the replay here.
Oh, he literally dead stop, and he stood up with 213 kilos. He's been so strong in overhead.
He's been very strong, yeah, in the snatch and the clean and jerk. We seem to have got stuck admiring that clean. Here we go.
Didn't take much time.
No, I wondered whether you thought he rushed that a bit.
Yeah, but it's just a fraction forward. That's all it was. It's just a fraction forward.
It's hard to think with 213 kilos above your head that maybe just that 1 kilo might